Kenya. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rita Chebet. Thank you so much for always watching us, for the feedback, for questions. We really appreciate your feedback. My name is Rita Chebet, and of course I'm not alone in the studio. I'm joined by two guests. We have Irene Bushebi together with Sarah Muridi. Irene is a pastor, she is a counselor, she is also a mother, and she is a wife. And Sarah Muridi, she is a counselor, and by the way, she graduated recently. Pongezi sana. Yes, she is a church leader, a mother, and also she is a wife. You can join the conversation via our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can text, call, or WhatsApp our phone number, which is 0746 999 In our previous program, we talked about the gender-based violence, GBV, and we said that GBV is not only violence against women. It can be violence against a man or a woman. It is basically violence based on your because of your gender. Let me say that. So we highlighted some of the causes and reasons of GBV. I remember we talked about sex, we talked about finances, unmet promises, lack of communication. Even work can cause someone to beat you. And GBV is not only about physical violence, it can be emotional, it can be psychological. So today we're going to talk about solving differences in marriage maturely. By saying maturely, we're trying to skip the part of ni kupigwa kofi kiboko ndo uelewe. We are not talking about tunaweza chini, and we can discuss that. And that is what Sarah Muridi together with Irene Bushebi are going to talk about: how you can solve your issues in a mature way rather than just opting for beating and psychological torture. So karibuni sana. A word before we start the show. Let me start with Sarah, then Irene.
Thank you, viewers, for always tuning in, watching. Thank you for your feedback. Welcome you for this session. Hope that we are going to get some that is going to push us forward, even during the festivity season, so that we can solve our differences. We are going to have some during that time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, viewers. We welcome you once again, and we are so happy that you're still there. And I can't forget to say this: it has been a year long, with you there, and we've seen so much going on, and we believe that you're still there for us, and we are here for you. And we know, as readers just said, we are going to tackle these issues about conflicts, and we know this is the season where there are so many conflicts because everybody's home. Yes. But we know that before you just get there, we are here for you, and we are going to tackle most of them. Karibu sana.
Yes, so before we delve into some of the causes that cause conflicts in marriages and the causes and the solutions to that, the mature way to solve that, let's just differentiate between two terms. We have differences in marriages, and also we have compatibility. Some of them is just that they are not compatible at all. What is the difference between difference and compatibility?
Compatibility is whereby God has given you a partner, and this partner you can never talk to agree to disagree to agree. You can never share anything, or nothing can be fruitful if you're talking, or if you, for example, you want to go this direction, your partner wants to go this direction. There is no way you're going to come to an agreement on what you want to do. You cannot offer one another friendship. You cannot offer one another companionship. You cannot communicate together. You cannot laugh together. And when you come to solving issues, you even don't know how to solve them, because one, you're not even friends. So, and this does not begin when you get married. It begins when you're courting. So you find that even when you're courting, there's nothing you agree. Your likes are a world apart. And there's so much huge difference. Could be your partner talks and you're the person who shuts up. Could be your partner makes a joke and you feel like he's abusing you. So you never relate. Or you see it's childish. They never relate these people. They cannot laugh together. They cannot go to the market together. They cannot go visiting places together. They are doing their own things. But differences in marriages are those that you're compatible. But once in a while, you may do something that I disagree with you and it upsets me. But along the way, we can sit down and discuss it, talk about it, and we come to an agreement, and life moves on. Differences can be brought about because of the children. Could be mzee anaona venye nalea mtoto si venye anataka. So when he highlighted to me, I'm going to listen to him, and I'm going now to start looking the line of how I'm bringing up the children. But if you're not compatible from their courtship, it will come down to the marriage. Now that is why you hear people saying, "You are got a hogelesha," because okay, yeah, this person is yours, but there's so much differences. You cannot over friendship, and you find that if you're not compatible with this person, you go to this person and you feel like you are made for each other, though you are not together, but you're with this other person. But with your person, it's like you may knock. Haiwezekani.
Okay, to me it sounds a little bit different here by thinking that, you know, when I talk about the differences, I'm seeing the physical bits of it, you know, like we usually talk about this. Squeeze ile tube ya toothpaste, somebody pale mwingine anataka atolee huko ikuje systematically. So it to me it sounds like that is what the difference is all about. You know, we are different in these things that we are doing here there. But when it comes to compatibility, is something that is really in us. You know, when I do something, when you do the other thing, it's like when we come together, this thing is like just fixes itself right. You see, and that is what Sarah was trying to describe here. Like, and I make jokes, nunasikia kama he's being too childish. What is he just doing? You know, it's something that does not rhyme from the inside. Like, hata anaweza kuwa anafikiria anachekesha watu sana, lakini wewe ukisikiza unashindwa. Kwani ni nini ya kucheka hapo? You see, so I'm not just, you know, there's something that is not just clicking. Like we used to be in school and we were doing arts and craft then. We would have these things like you mnachonga ka kitu kingine, and then the place where this thing has to get into is like it's shaped in that, you know, design. So ukileta inaingiana tu, hakuna ile ya kukazana nayo mpaka mchop mahali, inaingia tu one on one, you see. So ama the puzzle, like we usually have the puzzle, anakuambia mpaka upate the exact one, ukiingiza hivi so that's the compatibility bit of it that I'm talking about. And then the difference is these things. Mi nikipenda kuweka hii kikombe yangu, I like putting it like this, a little bit tilted. Anataka iwe hivyo straight and on that point. You see, these things that are out here. So to me, that's how I can bring this description. I don't know.
And compatibility. You've talked about some will carry we are not compatible from dating, courting, and we just decide to get into marriage. Should we focus on looking for partners that we are compatible with before settling? Let's start with Irene.
Yeah, I think I can do this with a yes or a no. If you find that in courtship there's somebody whom, not really in courtship, but I think this should start from the word go. Kuna vitu tukikutananga tu hivi tukijaribu kufanya ni kama aziendi. I think you should not go further than that. Lakini kuna ile yenye tayari maybe you are in it and you're finding like there are things that are just too difficult sometimes. So in courtship here, because we still have a lot, like ukiambia mtu kitu anakuwa rahisi ku adjust, tunaweza jaribu kuitengeneza mpaka tufike mahali, because I'm trying to focus back in this issue, like we're talking about love here, and you know, love brings two people who are very different together, and they'll work it out until they are in a place where they can get to that point, you see. So what I'm trying to say here is that at courtship, if you see that these things that mlijaribu tu on first sight ukaona hapa kuna red lights zingine, wachana tu nazo mapema ili usije ukafika hapa penye ninasema. Lakini kama umejipata kwamba tayari usha get into a certain distance and it's like these are things that for sure they are not very good, but we can work on them right there courtship time. Zikikataa kabisa pale basi wachana tu nayo. Lakini kuna zingine huwa tunaweza we can work on them, and that is now bringing me to the fact that there is love in this. You know, when there is love in something, hata kama ni mbaya aje, you can pull it back. And bringing us back to the definition of what love is, according to us here, is that it is a sacrifice for the other. So they might be having something that is ish in on your side, but you're feeling like if I bring them on board and work it out at this point, then we can move on. Kwa sababu nampenda and I can lay down my life for this person so that nione tunaweza saidiana. And that is when, you know, when we're talking about love here, we know we are talking also about honesty. That is being very open with this person. You know, you've been doing this and I feel this thing will not take us far. So we better work on it here early as today so that we can work it out here.
Yes, Sarah, should we focus on compatibility while looking for partners?
We shouldn't focus on it very much because these are things that bring themselves right when you start dating. And when you're dating is when you are beginning to know your partner, the likes and the dislikes. And if you find that the dislikes are so many than the likes, there is a danger there. And that is now when you should ask yourself, am I worthy getting to this relationship, or is it worthy for me to step out, or is it worthy for me to give it time? When you ask yourself those questions, you'll get answers, and I'm sure you'll get the right partner. Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about some of the issues or causes of conflicts in marriages. We tackled some of them last time, but I like your advice because ukiangalia watazamaji walikuwa wanataka nifanye nini ndio isitokee. And the major issue here is sex. We find that mwanaume anataka mwanamke hataki, mwanamke anataka mwanaume hataki, and it brings conflict. And time and again, Irene, you've talked about it, saying that you'll find that watu wanapigana kule jikoni, lakini issue si jikoni, issue ni kwingine. Asira iko lakini anaamua kuitolea kwingine. How should a couple deal with issues, sex issues?
Yeah, I think when it comes to sex issues, what we need to do first is to really be open with one another. You know, because as you're saying, in a marriage, you'll find that as we've been just talking about the compatibility and the difference thing, you find that we are very different. There are those people who are very, how would I say, they are strong in terms of sex. There are others who are weak in terms of sex. So their sexual life is imbalanced. So when this comes to the fore, you find that it is not very easy to handle it, because the other one who is down is like she or he is feeling, okay, I'm just comfortable where I am, be comfortable where you are. But you find that when we come together, it is like, it is not just going to rhyme for us, because there's that person who is feeling, you really need to get to my point, or I need to get to your point. And maybe it is not so. So what needs to be done here is we need to be open with each other. Tell the other person. And sex issues are issues that sometimes we get ourselves pushing aside so much because we don't want to talk about them. And this is, I would say, this is the tool of the devil most of the time in many marriages, because the devil is trying to tell you, why concern yourself with such a thing? That is, kwani hata wewe unaweza kaa kwa table kuongea juu ya sex. But you know what? That is what makes us come as one. So if you're not going to tackle it, then it means you're going to break down ultimately. So many people in many marriages, they don't work on it, and they don't sit down and talk about it because they are thinking this is a petty thing. Just like we've been saying, you know, like there are things when somebody is saying, you're like, kwani hiyo kitu ya utoto ndio unaongelea. When it comes to sex, my friend, is not kitu ya utoto. Talk about it, and especially in marriage. Wachana nayo kama iko kwa other grounds, you can let it go. But when it comes to marriage, the two of you, let's talk about it. So if there's that point where you feel you're weak, there's that point you feel you're strong, let your partner know. So that when it comes to this, you can help each other. And that is where now the love thing still now comes in again. Because when I love you, I'll know that maybe you are weak and I'm strong. So what are we going to do so that we reach the balance? You see, and it should be about the two of us. Let us not get it out there, because the moment you get it out there and somebody knows about it, they'll take advantage. They might most probably take advantage about it. So what you're going to do is to discuss it amongst the two of you, and then see how are we going to help each other mpaka tufike mahali. Tumekuja realize issue sex sometimes it's even about nutrition. How do you eat? Our day-to-day undertakings. What kind of job are you doing? You see, or at home, if you're a woman, which kind of chores are you getting yourself involved? Maybe you are doing so much, but so that by the end of the day, you are exhausted, you are used up. So when it comes to that time, it is like nobody should even move close to you, you see. So if we are going to be open about this, we can help each other. This guy can decide to get a house help for you so that you don't do a lot. Or all the same, he can help you do this at some point, you see, so that there is some strength left for you.
Yeah.
And if it is a man, maybe you are working out there, pengine unafanya kazi ngumu sana, ambayo ikifika usiku you are like, ukianguka pale umeanguka kama gunia. Yes, so you have to also discuss this with your partner. So once you do this, you'll find that we come from a point of realization. We know, we have knowledge about it. So when we have knowledge about what our spouse is going through, then we can help each other. Tunaweza shikana mkono tuka inuana mpaka tufike mahali tunataka. Now this is not a one day thing. It is something that you're going to work on. And as we are working on it, the other person should be patient with the other person, you see, so that we work it out. Lakini kama you rush over it, and also again, if you're going to not talk about it, I remember we were talking about communication here. If you're not going to communicate about the same, then you'll find that at the end of the day, kila mtu anajikalia huko na shida zake. So kama tungeleta hii shida tukaweka hapa na tukaongea juu yake, I think we'll be better placed so that we can solve this problem even a day and another. Na vile tunaendelea kujua the problem that each other is having, unapata we are moving even closer to each other much more day by day. And as we do that, that is even what is even strengthening that sex life in our marriage as it can be.
So Sarah, maybe a couple wamekuja kwako and they have the sex problem. How will you advise them?
Well, I would wish to make them understand they should go back to themselves and assess themselves and find out if it is medical, because it can also be maybe a medical case. Is it fatigue? They could also realize whether they are fatigued in their workplace and they come back in the evening. They are not able to enjoy it because one is complaining of being tired. Is it because of unfaithfulness? Somebody arises, my spouse has been unfaithful, and so she's pulling back or he's pulling back. Because for a woman or a man to reach to a point and say that the wife hampatia the husband, and there must be a reason. And like Irene has been mentioning it, communication is very key. So I would advise them first, talk about it. And if you see it is medical, or if I help them assess themselves and see that is a medical problem, I will refer them to a doctor. Because the doctor will be able to assess and see what kind of a disease it is. Is it psychological? So is it physical? There could be bruises somewhere, and they need medication, and so they are given medicine. If it is the case of being unfaithful, one partner is unfaithful, we just talk and we bring the part of forgiving and moving forward. Yeah, and I would also wish to advise them, or I would advise them this, to look at their daily activities and to see whether it is exhausting them to a point where when they get into the house, they are not able to do what God meant for them to do, because sex is not just for bringing children, it's also for enjoyment. So, and I want to advise the viewers and tell them this: do what you can, what you cannot, just leave it. Because we are getting, or we are wearing ourselves out with things that we cannot achieve or we cannot get, and this is distracting our sex life. Yeah.
And just to add on that also, I know sex life, people have come up with so many things today that maybe are not going to help us. We are following so much on social media and trying to up our standard to that. These people are out for a show, my friend. I don't think you're going to beat their standard. So please don't be comparing yourself. And I think another big thing, the biggest conflict also in marriages is comparing ourselves to other people or people out there. Don't start comparing yourselves to those things that you're trying to watch around there. because you look at them, you try to put yourself there. Hao watu wako hapo kwa sababu wanalipwa. I don't think somebody is paying you to do this. You are here because you want to be a family, you want to be a couple and the other. So don't go look for those things that you cannot beat their standard, please. Ukifika hapo tutakuwa tunaharibu ndoa for no good reason.
You Irene talked about communication, lack of communication. One partner is willing to talk, we have a problem, we need to talk, but the other person is not willing to. How do you handle a situation like that?
I think we can take it a day at a time. Sarah just mentioned something here that kuna vitu unaweza fanya, zingine huwezi fanya. Kwa hivyo usilazimishe una day kwamba lazima tuongee juu ya mambo haya. You know, also the biggest conflict sometimes is when people, maybe mtu anakuja hata na kitabu vile ninasema, things that we watch online. So umelazimisha your spouse, lazima utawatch hii ndio ujue cha kufanya. You know, you'll be forcing this person to do something that he or she is not gonna do. You see, maybe their mind is not set in that. So what is to happen when somebody is communicating, another one doesn't want to communicate is, please give them room, pole pole. There is how you can tune people to communicate without even them knowing. You see, so there are so many tactics that we can't go into this. But I know that kuna vile unaweza tune somebody into communicating without them even knowing. So I think you are the person who is staying with this other person and you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. There are places, there are things that when you come up with, wataanza kuongea. Na wakianza kuongea, that's when you'll fix in what you want to bring in. And automatically tutajipata mahali. So what I'm trying to say is, you know your spouse better. You know how you can trigger them to communicate. It's not about the ABCD of how to communicate. It is about you learning your spouse. And the second thing about it is, do you love this person? When you love somebody, you know, you can go down to the lowest of all the points, but just to make them be where you want them to be. So this comes with a lot of the inner me. You know, can I change myself so that the other person is gonna change? But if you're still thinking about changing the other person and you've not thought of yourself, hautafika.
The same issue to you, Sarah. One partner is willing to talk, the other one is not willing to talk. Yet we have to solve this issue. You say that we must communicate.
One communication at the time I said, there is the skills of communication. How do you approach a person? Because could be the approach is a problem. So if your approach is a problem, or you communicate to this person, he will not answer. You let you just talk. Did you finish? The second thing is this. There are people, yes, you are going to communicate, but they are good at listening. So you may seem like he's not talking, but he's listening. And he's going to show you the actions. I heard what you are telling. Could be this person, at that time you are coming to approach him, is not the right time. Could be he has come from his workplace but out of stress. And it is the time you want to talk about this. Even the environment. Where are you raising the sex issues?
Yeah, sure.
Where are you raising them? Because Chebeta Rain, there is sex issues, you know, sex is sacred. And as you raise it, the environment must be conducive. So that you raise it and you are heard. Irene has just mentioned, it is good that you know your spouse and even the background. Why you thought sex is a taboo? You can't talk about it. So ikifika hapo, you are not talking, just mom. Because when the upbringing matters a lot. So viewers, when it reaches there and your partner isn't responding, do not be harsh on him. Do not start being judgmental on him and judging who he doesn't talk. No. Give him time. Whatever you have said, I'm sure he hears. And there is a time that he's going to respond. The problem is you want to talk even before digesting what you have said. You want an answer. Let us give each other time to digest what you have told us. Jumabo mengine nataka ukiniambia, I take time to think about it. I could be if I'm down the problem, I need to ask myself, higher. You mean I've been having a problem but I didn't know it? So now you see you're talking to me and now my mind is again rushing or running, asking myself, oh, there was a problem and I thought everything is right. Yeah, there are those people, you don't just talk and they talk back.
Internalize fast.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for that. Let's take a short commercial break. If you're just joining us, we're talking about some of the issues causing violence and disagreements in marriages and how to solve it in a better way rather than just resolving to physical violence, psychological torture, and emotional torture. So we're going for a short commercial break. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rida Chebet Kering, and with me in studio we have Irene Mumbo Bushebi together with Sarah Muridi. Continue talking with us. Facebook, YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can text, call, or WhatsApp our phone number, which is 0746 999 841.
What is your power? Focus, find your flow, stay determined, be fearless, harness your power, do the work, give it your best. Go further with UC 1000 orange and lemon water isotonic drinks with 1000 milligrams of vitamin C. Rehydrate, replenish, and protect. Feel refreshed. You are power.
Like seriously, I'll go. Bora mnalipa, isikuwe tena ndio sijui ngoja weka ID. Acha namba yako hapa sijui nini.
We look at all that is trending in Kenya and beyond.
Hizo miti zinapandwa wapi? Pata that kukikuwa na drought ni drought ya kuua watu. Kukikuwa na mvua tena ni floods za kuua watu.
Pássaros coloridos. Mulmul tapo. 2 plates of nkwabi and a partridge in a pear tree.
I don't know the way President Ruto actually worked. At first I thought it was something he came up with until I saw his son walking. This is a drift.
The Drift, every Monday, Tuesday and Friday on Maisha TV.
Hii ni stesheni iliyochaguliwa kuwa bora zaidi na kupewa ushindi wa kuza na kitengo cha mawasiliano cha serikali.
And the winner is Maisha TV.
Maisha TV. Stesheni inayokuwa kwa kasi. Stesheni inayokujali mtazamaji.
You can trust the award-winning TV station.
Stesheni inayojali mwananchi wa Kenya.
Biashara imeweza kudidimia sana, unapata customer wanalia.
Stesheni inayotoa mafunzo, maelezo na taarifa kwa kina zaidi.
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television,
Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News.
For Maisha Prime.
For Maisha Prime.
For Maisha Prime Education Segment. For Maisha Prime News.
Hii ni runinga ya Maisha.
Marker, take 3.
We are here to make your day. This is Maisha TV. Of course, the fastest growing TV station and the award-winning channel you can't miss out on educating, entertaining and informative shows. Women Talk, The Drift, Love Honse, S Sample, Sos Me Vida, Masomo News Live, Prime News, Maisha Kids, MTV Summons, music shows, politics, leadership and governance and many more. It's all here. On StarTimes we are on channel 108, GOTV 808 and all free-to-air decoders. Social media too as Maisha Television Kenya. You know what? Just choose it, watch it and love it. This is the place where it all happened. The stories that continue to change our country.
And at present we have got one student who is now at BBC World Service, working.
These are the faces we see.
Business studies.
Is Madam Susan Masaba.
Walter
Usolo Shem Bilembo.
The voices we hear.
Glad you're tuned in. You're still tuned in to Maisha TV now. Every day here on Maisha Prime News, we air feature from different schools across the country
that have revolutionized society through education. This is who we are. One channel, one bulletin. Masomo News Live. Join us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. for Masomo News Live, exclusive to Maisha TV.
Right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. My name is Rita Kering Chebet. With me in studio is Irene Mumbo Bushebi, together with Sarah Muridhi, and we are talking about how to solve some of the issues causing conflicts in marriages in a better way. We've talked about how to solve financial sex issues and lack of communications, and Sarah has just said that you should understand your partner. Maybe ni yule ambaye anakaa anasikia kwanza, ana internalize, and then he or she will respond later by actions. Siku anajua hiyo, but at least I now know. So we are still talking about some of the causes and how to solve them, and we've talked about two of them, the major ones, sex and lack of communications, but also you have these major big issue, finances. Financial problems in marriages, as they say, lack of it causes trouble, presence of it causes trouble. So Irene, how should couples solve this issue of finance to ensure that ikue isikue peace iko na hakuna disagreements?
I think if you're going to take finance as something that is just added on us, we'll take it easily. Ni kama nguo ya kuvaa. I don't think we are going to fight about something that I'm putting on and putting out every other time, because finances are always here and they can be here and there. Zinaweza kuwa zinaweza kosekana. So if we are not going to hold onto finances like this is do or die. I don't think we have to go there. And so I think this problem also emerges so much when maybe we started with these finances available, and then now they are dido. Yeah. That's where the problem is. But also I know of cases where we started without, and then we started having some money, or the finances started coming in, and then all of a sudden everybody's changed. Kila mtu anaanza kubehave tofauti kwa sababu ako nazo. So what we are saying here is that finances, to handle it well, is like, don't take it as a big thing. It is just something that helps us to carry our day on, So it's not a big thing like when we don't have it, the whole world has to know and has to come to a rescue. Hapana. Na pia kama tuko nayo, si kwamba kila mtu ajue na sijui tuanze kujifananisha na nani. Hapana. So this conflict is also about, what is our source of finance? Or how do we get our finances? Because I know sometimes we work so hard to get our finances here, there. And so when we bring them home, it is like everybody wants the other one to feel like nimeifanyia kazi. You see. And another thing about it also is that tuna vile huwa tunaenda kutafuta. Now we sacrifice a lot going to get it home. So when it comes to a point of reaching these finances home, kuna watu wengine wanapoteleanga nazo hapo katikati. So I think, as I've just started by saying, is that finances should be something we know is just added on us so that it usaidie. So don't hold it like it is life and death. Apana. Whether it's there, whether it's not there, tunajua tunapendana sisi wawili. And I think if we know we love each other, we can survive in that house without nothing. Maana watu huanza, ukiona saa zingine vile watu huanza ndoa yao, you love it. They start on nothing. Hawana hata kiti, hawana mali wanalala. But you see, because they love each other, they're just there. So let's assume, like, even if these things are here, the money is here and is allowing us to do 1, 2, 3 things. Let's just put it in its place. Sisi wenyewe nasi tujiendeshe kama the two of us. But if we are going to hold it so dearly to us, utapata inafika mahali we've held so much onto the finances that we've forgotten about the spouse. You see, and so that means the love that we are talking about is going down the drain, and then the money is left there. And so automatically tutapata tuko na shida. So to solve this conflict, let us not hold this finance thing to be a dear thing to us. What should be dear to us is the spouse. Kwa hivyo kama uko kwa ndoa ambayo uko na pesa ama hauna, please, ule mwenzako ndiye anamata sana. Wachana na pesa. Pesa zitakuja na pia itafika mahali tena zitaenda, tena zitarudi tena. Na tena inategemea vile pia mmeanza kuzitafuta. So it's about the two of you. Kama nyinyi wawili mtaweka the wanted effort pale nje na mlete those finances home, I think you'll be comfortable about it. Lakini kama mtakuwa wale watu ambao mnashikilia sana kwa hizo finances, mpaka mtu akienda akizileta hapa, ukishika hivi anasikia kama umemshika moyoni mwake. Hapana. So what I'm saying in essence is, I think the two of us are more important. So we are going to solve this conflict by saying, even if the finances are there, even if the finances are not there, zilitupata hapa. You see, so the two of us, we have to work on the two of us first before working on those finances. So kabla mkae kwa meza mwanze kudiscuss on issues finances, please, have you worked about your own issues? Because najua shida utokea sana wakati watu wanafanya sana kudeal na finances ambazo wameleta katika ndoa yao, rather than dealing with themselves. Before you deal with yourselves, hata kama pesa itakuwa nyingi hapa, utapata mmekosana. Kwa sababu you've not dealt with yourselves. When I'm talking about dealing with yourselves I'm talking about, are you ready to lay down your life because of the other person? Such that, hii pesa, hata tukifikia mahali, nikakugawia kidogo, na mimi nikaenda na nyingi, haita kufrustrate. Utajua, huyu mwenzangu akaenda na hizi nyingi, kwa sababu ninamjua. Is this person who can go out of his way of her way to do things the way tumekubaliana? Basi sitakuwa na shida. Hata zile kidogo umenipea, nimejua hata mimi nita work so hard because we are doing it for the common goal, the two of us. You see, but the moment we've not dealt with ourselves, unajua akichukua tu nyingi, bas maisha imechange. Maana najua tu yeye akipatanga tu pesa hivi, hata walking style imechange. Are you seeing that? Yeah. So that means we've not dealt with ourselves. Lakini tukisha deal na sisi wenyewe, ikiwa the finances are here, tunajua it's for sure whoever gets even the bigger portion, tunajua that bigger portion is not for themselves, it's just for the two of us. So whatever they are doing out there with the amount of money that they have, we know they are doing it because it has to roll back to the two of us, you see. So we will have solved that conflict of finances. So it doesn't matter who is getting much more, who is getting kidogo, yote hizi tunajua ni zetu. Kwa hivyo chochote kile mtu anafanya na the finances bit of it, the financial bit of it, tunajua it is because of the two of us.
And there's this mentality just before Sarah talked on the same na pia nataka utaongelee yenye naenda kuuliza Irene. There's this mentality that women have, pesa yangu ni yangu, yake ni yetu.
Yeah, I know it is a big thing, and all of us will agree to it kwamba huwa inatusumbua sana because we know pesa ya mzee inakuanga yetu. And this is not just our formation, it is something that is very natural looking into it. And do you know the reason why this is like this? It is because these people, or the men I would say, they were meant to be the authority. And so whatever they are doing, wakileta ile ambayo ni yetu hiyo, inakuja na ile authority. But the moment inakuwa kwamba hii yangu ndio inakuja, automatically pia utapata mwanamke sasa anataka kuweka ile authority kwa mwanamume. So that's why we cut it short on this and saying ile yake ni yetu na hii yangu ni yangu. We are not meaning atusemi wa mama kwamba sasa if it is you who is even working or having a lot kwamba usilete nyumbani ama utumie kivyako mwanaume apate ajishughulikie. Hapana, tunamaanisha hata kama ni wewe utakuwa unaileta bado utaileta in the form of ni yetu, in terms of unampa alafu tunaona vile tunafanya nayo kazi. I know when I'm talking about this, there's a lot of conflict surrounding that because mwanamke anashanga. Kwani mimi nitakuwa nafanya kazi hivyo kwa bidii, mtu amejikalisha kwa nyumba alafu naleta hizo finances hapa alafu, and that is why I was saying when it comes to finances, let us deal with ourselves first. Umejua tukisha deal na ourselves, ninajua as a woman kama vile nafanya kazi kwa bidii, mume wangu ninajua kwamba hajakaa tu pengine ile mahali pake pa kazi ana earn kidogo, but ninajua ni mtu ambaye tukileta hizi finances tukaweka pamoja hapa, kuna vile atanisaidia with the authority bestowed on him, so that whatever is done nisianze kutembea around pale nikisema unaona hiyo nyumba, I'm the one who contributed the most amount, you see? Yeah. As much as nili contribute, kama nitakuja ninyenyekee nayo kwake hapa, itanisaidia kupunguza ile uzito wa kuona the authority that is on me. And once that is done, utapata that family runs really smoothly, and it is also for the benefit of the generation that we are raising after us. You know, sometimes we do these things and we think it is here and done. Apana, whatever you do today is really talking much about what is going to happen tomorrow. So before you start thinking of now here and the money that I'm having and spending, have you ever thought of what is going to happen tomorrow? Because I don't think when you'll be old, na wale watoto wanakuja kwako with such problems, how are you going to solve them? Wakati wewe kwako na mume wako na mke wako ili kushinda kusolve. So before you start doing anything, think of these children that we are raising. Because as we did mention here also, still these children are a spiritual bit of us. So whatever we do today is going to roll up in their lives tomorrow. So do it today, remembering tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Irene, for that. Sarah, the issue of finances.
Yeah, finances are bringing conflicts into marriages, but if well handled, they should not be a source. And I'm going to say, the moment a couple comes together and decides that they're going to live together, let their friendship be based on love and trust and faithfulness, not money. Yeah. We cannot do without money because we need money to run our daily activities. Like that I was saying, we need to eat, we need to clothe, we need to provide to our children. And let us not worship money, that we are going to love our spouse because he has money. If tomorrow he doesn't, love him Maisha, and we start being rude to each other. That is not the right thing. We are supposed to balance. If today the money is a lot, let us sit down and ask one another, what are we going to do with this money? If it is little, again let us come down on the table and say, this money is not enough. What should we go for first and what should go for last? And then I want to advise the men out there, when you get your salary, instead of taking it to your spouse, you take it somewhere else. Do not diverge your money, because this money you are working for the better of your family, and there's nothing important like your wife and your children. It is so bad that your wife is sleeping on an empty stomach, or your children, and your money you've known where you have taken it, not for their benefit. So when you get money, because I'm sure again this is where conflict comes in, a rinche bet, mwanaume amepata pesa, amepeleka, simunaelewa, amepeleka mahali kwingine instead of bring it home. Let us learn to value our families, and when I say family, I mean the nuclear family. Even before we get to the extended family, before we get to the friends, we value our nuclear family, because when it all goes bad, where do we go back to? The family. To the family. So money should not be a basis of conflict, and when it becomes a basis of conflict, there is always a way to get out of there. You sit down and ask each other, why do we always argue because of money? And this is something that we go out there to look for it early in the morning and come back in the evening. Money should bring joy. And then where conflicts again are going to arise when it comes to finances, it is if a spouse won't compete with somebody who is not at his level, or a woman won't compete with another woman who is not of their level. So your husband earns a little money but you want akweke kwa ile class ya juu, which is not very possible. Of course conflicts will come in, but if you are satisfied, if you are contented with the little or with the much that you are getting, you are not going to have conflicts. And women, when we are earning, Irene has just mentioned it. The ladies' money is the ladies' money, and the men money is our money. It's because men have a responsibility over us. So as we come in to help to meet the budget, but even as we come in to help our husbands or our spouses to meet the budget, we need to remain silent about it. We don't need to go saying it is me who does. Let's say it is him who does, so that we do not break his ego, because again man still remains the head of the family. So my money, his money put together works for the benefit of that family. It is meant to keep that family running. It is meant to keep that family living in harmony, and also feeling good about one another, educating children, dressing nicely, eating smartly. Get? But now when you say it is men, I'm sure it will be men and my friends. So where am I leaving my family here? By the time I come, I'm coming drained and I'm going back to the same person that I did not spend money with. So let us wise up. And wisdom is very important when it comes to financial matters. And let us not worship money. If you worship it, family will be gone.
Good advices there concerning financial issues from Irene and Sarah. Unmet promises is also another issue. You promised me you'll do this, that, but then hujawahi fanya. Unajua wanawake, by the way, hawasahau.
Never forget.
Ulimwambia last year lakini hadi leo anakumbuka. How should we handle these issues? Labda mwanaume alisema na alisahau. Sasa lakini mwanamke pia ako na ile ego, haizi akakommunicate asema ulinipromise but you've never fulfilled it.
I promise. I think women, we should stop expecting so much. Up to this bit, I know the women, we know that many a times we are promised so much. Somebody said, even in courtship, watu naambiwa utaenda kuishi mbinguni, ngoja. Yeah, then all your life you've been living here. So that is one of the biggest promises that everybody has been given, and we've never seen it fulfilled. So I think if there's something about marriage that we must understand as women or even as men, that you have to know much about marriage. You have to accept much about marriage, and you also have to do much about marriage. So means utapewa those promises, but sijui niseme namna gani, the capability that all these things will be done is in a very slim line, kwa sababu we've seen most of them not fulfilled. But if we are going to know, and even in the point where we are being promised these things, we have that realization that as much as because umejua kweli tu hata tuangaliane vizuri. Saa zile mtu anakuambia kwamba nitakununulia nyumba Hurlingham, my friend, na wewe pia ukimwangalia vile unamwangalia unamjua kweli inawezekana. Si unajua, as much as yes this is a promise, but unajua it is a long-term promise. So even this long-term, as it is evolving into eternity, as we can see, then it means this thing will never come to pass. So one thing we have to realize is that in marriage there are so many things. It means this person really had those expectations, na pia angependa iwe hivyo, lakini sasa kama vile mambo kwa ground ni different. So vile mambo imeturn up to be different, I think what we are going to do is to accept and not push a lot. Yes, we can remind ourselves, because now another thing that we also have to realize in this is that wakati pengine mtu alikuwa na kupromise, you are still singles, kila mtu ako kivyake, but the moment you come together and you are the two of you, ujue hiyo promise alikuwa anasema hivyo akijua ukikuja utamsaidia. See, you are the helpmate. So as you are coming in because you are coming to help him achieve whatever promises he did lay down, because he was laying these promises down knowing I'm going to marry a good wife, and this wife behind every successful man there is a woman. So if you see these promises are not coming to pass, it is about you yet still. Oh boy, today it's bad, huh? So the thing is, yes, the promises are there, and I know there are others that are still even being given when we are already in this marriage. But one thing I want to advise each one of us, hata iwe ni huyo mwanamume. I know even women sometimes we give promises. Yes. Yeah. So the moment we give these promises, I know we are giving promises once we know kuna mtu ananishikilianga huku nyuma. So as I give this promise, I know it will be with his effort that I will do this. So don't push a lot, knowing that it's still also your effort on this person so that we can achieve the promise that has been given. Kwa hivyo, na hiyo ndio kusema mtakapo kuja pamoja mtakuwa mwili mmoja. So the moment somebody is promising you something, usichukuliange tu ati, hey, you know, my has told me they will give me this and this. Think of it in the point that I'm part of that person. So as much as the promise has been given, it will be also my effort to see that we fulfill that promise. It is about the two of us in one. I think I've solved that problem.
Najua watu wengi sana pale nje hamtakubaliana Irene. Ndio mmoja wao, mbona upende promise na unajua utakufi.
Promise unajua, yes, I'm really willing. But you know, with the challenges that are coming, and these challenges are also coming because of you somehow. Kwa sababu tuko mwili mmoja, si ndio hivyo? Kwa hivyo inamaanisha kama nilisema nitanunua gari, I don't know which is the latest to make. I'm not good in this vehicle thing. But nilisema nitanunua hiyo gari. So nimeanza kusave. Hivi kidogo your mom has fallen sick. What are we gonna do? Si lazima nitatoa pale ni solve what is at hand. Yeah. So if I'm doing this, kama itachukua another 10 years kununua hii gari, kweli si you will bear with me, because it was not just about me, it was about you as well. One thing I also know is that it is not good to make promises that we don't fulfill. And that is why, according to us now, the word of God tells us, don't be very quick or very rushy in making promises. Because God is also not happy with those people. And in fact, God calls them fools. He's not hawezi kutulia na wale watu wapumbavu. I think that should be the right word. So God is saying that because anajua, before you make a promise, are you seeing the possibility of fulfilling this promise? Yeah. And not just seeing it. Are you having the potential to do it? So when you promise something that you know you can fulfill. Msipeane zile promises ambazo hazitakuja to come to pass in life. Kwa sababu the moment you're doing this, what is your potential in terms of this promise? And what is pushing you? If it is love, then that love will still push you to the point where you will fulfill that promise, you see. So if I promise you something and I know I love you, nita work even beyond my time to see that I fulfill the promise. Yes, I know now you are good to go.
Yeah, now they are good to go. Promises are given. And when promises are given, I'm sure there's a scenario that has brought that promise being promised. And could be a promise during courtship, and now you are married. It has never been fulfilled. Yeah. And you're kind of asking yourself, why? You should ask yourself, when this promise was being given to me, nilikuwa naigizwa box. Na kama niligia box, nitulize. So, if you promise something and it has not been fulfilled, do not make it a conflict in your marriage. Ask yourself, why was I promised and it has not yet been fulfilled? Because could be it was being promised in the sense of money will be available, and then there's no money available. You should know your spouse better. Was it fulfilled when your spouse was not permanently employed, he was not under somebody, and even there is no time for the promise to be fulfilled? So promises, whether fulfilled or not fulfilled, I do not see them like they should make us upset with one another to a point of even revenging. You promised, you didn't, I also not do this to you. Then I want to ask both women and men, let us not be quick in making promises. Make a promise that you are sure. If I say tomorrow I'm taking you to Masai Mara, tomorrow you are going to land there. But don't make a promise whereby you know you are not going to fulfill it because it hurts the other person. It is good to just shut it up. I would rather, instead of promises, let us make a marriage fun by surprises. You come and tell me, can you pack your bags? You're getting somewhere. And I'll pack, because I'm trusting my spouse, I'll pack without asking where are we going. It's a surprise. Surprises you don't ask. So you're only taken, and you find out how you are being taken when you get there. And you say, wow, thank you. So I would rather, instead of these promises, let us surprise one another. Because, with a promise, you hold it dearly. That one, it is going to happen. You might wait for ages. But the surprise, it happens and you just finish about it.
Yeah, sure.
And life moves on.
Good point there by Sarah Murithi. Rather than promising, because on a promise you're not sure if you'll fulfill it, but with a surprise you're sure, because niko na pesa saizi, let's go. A good one. There's something I forgot to ask. At what point should a couple involve third party? I know we've talked about this severally. You'll find that tumevutana sana, we've tried to communicate, tumekaa chini, but haiwezekani. At what point should a couple involve a third party?
I think at the point where we realize that everything is even becoming more violent. Yeah, because that's a point where now you're seeing like this is a different person. Because the moment somebody starts becoming violent, it means they are also like accepting they can't do this, but now in a way of just pushing it away by force. So this is a point where you can't still hold back. Lakini kama bado ni ile wakati tunaweza zungumza na mambo ikawa iko sawa, we can see even the progress of things happening. I think it's not a very bad point. And again, when I'm talking about this, I know vile mama Sarah alikuwa anasema kuna watu wengine in communication, they will not speak to you, but they'll act. So if you start seeing there are some progresses that are being made, as much as maybe somebody is not telling you this, ujue huyu mtu huwa anakuelewa, anasikiza, because I know a good listener is always a good communicator. Yeah, it's like they are communicating by just doing exactly what you told them to do. So when you reach a point where this person maybe unapata unamuongelesha, mnajaribu hata kuongea, there is nothing that is coming out, like hakuna step that is being taken, there is no progress that we can identify with, then there's something that is really breaking up. It's like maybe switch off. Huwa unamuongelesha, hata mnaongea hapo, lakini anajiambia ndani mwake, wewe ongea tutamaliza, taenda hivyo. Kwa hivyo ujue there's something that is literally wrong. It's like amefika mahali penye sasa hana haja na wewe. It's only that is keeping you at bay, or she's keeping you at bay, like wacha tu yeye aendelee na shughuli zake, mimi naendelea na zangu. And also again, when you realize that maybe we are talking in a certain direction, we are supposed to head in a certain direction, unapata anafanya something else. Like for example, tunaweza kuwa in a relationship or in a marriage, we are talking about, can we come up with maybe a project like we are building a house or something like that. Unapata instead of doing this, ameenda pengine kununua gari ya mtu fulani, maybe a brother, amenunulia brother gari, na huku tulikuwa tunafikiria even in 2 months time we are putting up our home, you see, because you've seen the finances, maybe you're trying to put it together. Unapata ametoka tu bila hata kukujulisha, unasikia amenunulia ndugu yake gari ama dada yake or something like that. Those are two parallel things that are running to show you, as much as you're saying we get into this project, I think that is not what I'm for. I'm for something else. So hapo utajua, it's like we have a big communication breakdown. As much as anaweza kuwa nakaaga hapa kwa meza tunaongea, hata tunapanga mambo, ujue kuna kitu ambayo haiko sawa mahali. Pengine alishawachana na mambo yako. Sasa wewe kazi yako ni kujiongelesha, hata mfanye hizo plans, muandike kila kitu, mchore nyumba yenu vile itakuwa, lakini he is on doing something else. Are you seeing that? So that is a red light to show you that you really need somebody else maybe to talk to him and find out what is it that is going on. And then, as I did mention first, is when everything becomes violent. Yeah, you know that kabisa imekataana. You need to seek help.
We need to seek help when we find that we are not talking to each other, but we are talking at each other, kushiana maneno, or being abusive towards each other and making threats. Because if somebody now reaches to a point and tells you, I'm going to kill you, my friend, you'll be killed. Don't sit there and wait to be killed. Look for that party to come in and help you solve these issues. If somebody slaps you or hits you for the first time, don't wait for the second time. Look for help. because you may not know whether night is going to be habitual. And when you're seeking for help, it is good that you seek for help, the two of you. In marriage, you cannot heal one person. It's daring. You must heal the two because they are one. So if I come, it's me the problem. Yes, you can help me, but what about that other person? And even we reach a point and say, in marriage, let us heal even the whole family, because could be the issue of me being beaten, it is generating from my family, neighbors, you get? So we need to heal the whole family, and for us to heal the whole family, we must begin with the two of us. It is good we convince each other that now penye tumefika, we need to look for that party to assist us. Because when things become violent, that is when somebody has been killed. Kimchezo tu hivyo. When people start abusing one another, mentally people get depressed because nobody want to be put down with abuses. Yeah, because abuse, hii matamshi yenye inatoka kwa mtu inakukera tu kwa roho. It is even worse than being beaten physically. It kills you spiritually, it kills you physically, and you feel now not knowing whom you are anymore. You stop knowing whom you are anymore. So before when you see those red flags that today tumeongea, instead of listening to each other, we are just shouting at one another, I am telling you, look for help. If your wife beats you, seek for help. Even if are beating their their husbands, wanatandikwa kichapo sana. So if your wife beats you, do not say it's because she was angry, she's sending a message. She no longer respects you. So look for help. Or could be she has been depressed and you do not know that she has been depressed. So she's releasing her stress on you. So it is good that you seek for help so that you know how you can be helped, the two of you. Because violence in marriage is not good at all. And not just in marriage, even in courtship. I don't want to tell these people who are courting, the moment you realize your boyfriend has hit you, even though you give him a second chance, first seek for help. Because if he is hitting you and even he is not your husband, I reach a bet. Utapata kutandikwa mara ngapi kwake? Ama msichana anatandika kijana, ama anatusi kijana. So it is good if you see these things in courtship, also look for that party so that that person can help you realize whether you're compatible for one another or you are not. And because even the Bible agrees that we can separate, you can see now, have we reached to a point of separation so that you sit down and relax and find myself and you find yourself now before we come back together. Yeah.
Well, asante sana Sarah Mridhi for that. Thank you so much, Irene, for the advice, and also thank you our viewer for staying with us. You're watching Maisha Prime Women Talk, where real women engage. And in case you joined this conversation late, you can always revisit it on our social media platforms: Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. You can ask your question, you can send any feedback via our phone number by texting, you can call, or you can WhatsApp our phone number, which is 0746999841. And today we were talking about how to solve conflicts in marriages in a better way or in a mature way. And I believe and hope that you've gotten something from that. My name is Rita Kering Chebet. Enjoy the rest of the broadcast.